Let's get to the latest on Phil Jackson here first. For days, multiple media reports have suggested a deal for the Knicks to bring Jackson to New York to run basketball operations will be complete by the end of the week. But with the week nearing a close, it appears we're no closer to anything like an official announcement. That hasn't stopped anyone from speculating what kind of an impact Jackson would have on the embattled organization or who he might want to coach the team. Putting two and two together, many have suggested the Zen Master might turn to his own former player and our own Steve Kerr, who has said publicly he would like to coach and knows Jackson's triangle offense. Earlier tonight, Kerr addressed the speculation on NBA TV.
It's unfair. I mean, the job isn't even open. I have a ton of respect for Mike Woodson, who I've gotten to know the last couple of years through broadcasting. I was even a teammate of his at one point in Cleveland years ago. I've made it known that I've been interested in coaching, and everybody knows my relationship with Phil, so people are connecting the dots and speculating, but that's all it is at this point. And it's flattering, but it's also a little bit embarrassing because of the circumstances, and so I prefer not to go down that path.
Mike Woodson is still the coach in New York. His team has won 5 in a row, and Phil Jackson, at least officially, has yet to be hired. So it's...
Hey, how about Dennis Rodman coaching? B.J. Armstrong.
He's been a diplomat. He can coach too. Why not?
Listen, just because you won championship with Michael Jordan don't mean you can coach. I like Steve a lot, and he might be a good coach, but we just can't be just telling people they're going to be coaches out the blue.
We don't know that there's going to be an opening.
Horace Grant.
Keep going.
Luke Longley.
Stacey King.
Stacey King.
They all know the triangle. Right?
We all know the triangle. Listen, the triangle's a great offense. When you got Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal. You got the rest of these brothers, it's a square. And it don't work. It don't work. Let's get that straight.
Most offenses work with those players.
Yes, they can run the pick and roll. They can walk it up and down the court. You got great players. Listen, man, Mike Woodson is not the problem with the New York Knicks. The Knicks stink. But Mike Woodson is not the problem. I think Mike Woodson's been totally disrespected throughout this entire process. I respect Steve Kerr. That's the one thing I say on television. We should never say somebody should get fired, or we should never discuss somebody's job opening when it's not open. But the Knicks stink, and it's going to be a long process. And Zen Master going to have to go see Dr. Phil after seeing that team play a little bit.
Well, here are some of the problems with the organization. In addition to the second biggest payroll in the NBA, they don't have a pick in this heralded draft.
They paying them guys?
Yes, they're paying them a lot. They don't have one in 2016 either. You saw the contract statuses. They've got to answer this question about Carmelo Anthony. He has to answer it for them. Will they be able to keep him? Will they be able to build around him? Shaq, you know Phil well. What can he do as an executive that will turn this thing around?
Does Phil Jackson know basketball? Absolutely yes. Does he know how to build a team? Absolutely yes. Does he know how to have conversation with players and raise their play to the next level, possibly get them to a championship? Yes. But does he know how to do those things without running the triangle offense? So, all these...
Or without coaching the team.
Yeah, so, with all these speculation about other coaches coming in, I'm anxious to see what he can do if it's not in his, with the triangle style offense. With the triangle, he's brilliant. I believe in him, but, again, we'll see.
Yeah, I think the one thing, let's say if it happens, right? The one thing that you look at is I don't think that there's positives and negatives. Now all of a sudden you say, wow, this is a championship pedigree inside of New York. So free agents, everyone else. He's one of the greatest basketball minds that's ever touched the basketball.
Instant credibility.
But instant credibility, without question. But the problem is, if you're going to be a satellite president, because that gets around. NBA players talk very much in the locker room. If a guy comes and says, well, I haven't really talked to the guy, I've seen him in 3 weeks, it could be more detrimental than helpful. The difference, everyone's comparing him to what Pat Riley was. Pat Riley was a great basketball mind, and all of a sudden he's in the front office. The difference is Pat Riley's at every practice. Right. He's at every game. And Spoelstra has already said that he goes upstairs to lean on him to get information from him. And that would be the most discouraging point if Mike Woodson, because he's the coach, wouldn't have that ability to go up there and talk to Phil Jackson right after the game.
Your worry is that Phil Jackson would have one foot in L.A. or somewhere else while trying to run the Knicks.
I just think you can't do it. I think the credibility of why a free agent or someone would come there is because you can rub shoulders with this guy every day, and that would be their thing. Now, they do have Steve Mills there, would probably serve as the runner guy who can be his legs and be certain places. But the two together have to work. If you have one without the other, to me, I don't think it will work.
Craig Hodges, Brad Sellers.
Just still go down the list.
Anybody can coach who played for the Bulls. Listen, the Knicks, listen, I agree with everything Shaq said, everything Kenny said.
Bill Whittington.
Bill Whittington can coach. But Luke Longley, I said him.
You said
What's
it.
the other big guy? Will Perdue.
Will Perdue.
Will Perdue can coach him too. Listen, the Knicks don't have a good team. Other than, I look at their roster, love Tyson Chandler. He's probably the only guy who can play in the triangle. The rest of those guys, they're not going to move without the ball. They all ball dominant. Tyson Chandler can play on any team and help it win. But they got to figure out those guys on that roster going to be there for the next 3 or 4 years. Phil Jackson will change it, but we're talking about a 3-year process. Because you can't get rid of those players on that team making all that money. Carmelo, first of all, Carmelo's the guy holding all the cards. He's the guy holding all the cards. But those other guys on the team, you can't trade those guys. Nobody wants those guys.
You gonna name any more guys?
I'm running out of people.
You're all done. No more?
I can't name any more players.
Randy Brown.
Randy Brown.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, good call.